What is up, guys? Welcome back and welcome in. I'm Smash, and today we're back at it again with another episode of Sky Beast 2. Last episode, I believe it's been a little bit, but we ended up with the centrifuge controllers. We have three of them set up now. I believe I set this one up in the last episode, but we did go ahead and just get a couple more. Once you start on it, it's really uh, not awful. Centrifuges, once you have the power for these casings, it's just more and more wax machine blocks, really, right? So it's just some steel and the wood and beeswax, really. It's not awful. So we did go ahead and make three more. We were still bottlenecking, and so what I've actually gone ahead and done is made it so that all of our apiary storages, you can see they're empty now, are funneling into here into our drawer controller, and then right here I'm all coming in compacting, and you can see that we've added all the blocks to a whitelist so that only the blocks are coming out and not the individual honeycombs. So what this is doing is it's allowing us to smelt 9 of them at the same time, making us basically smelt 9 times faster. So now we're keeping up, and we can actually probably add way more bees to this and still have it work. So that's pretty cool, and what we'll probably be doing. So hopefully this will get us through. However, something that we are running into is actually the automation side of our power generation. We're using a whole bunch of stacks of diamonds right now. It's not very efficient. It's not very much of anything. So what I want to do today is actually start out uh, with some more. What is happening here? Ah. Hmm. Okay. That was weird. But you can see I have been making a bunch of blazing crystals and things like that. What I'm actually gonna do is do I want that one to cook first, and once this is done, so we are running into a little bit of a weird situation right now where they don't actually seem to care because all we're doing is pumping. The cinder module is only pumping one in, so but it doesn't care which one. So if it's has a blaze rod, and a diamond, it will do that. But that's a problem for future me. Anyways, we have been doing some of these netherite scraps as well. Just grab a couple stacks here and there and toss them in. So, anyways, in the beginning of this episode, let me see here. Oh, I also set up our nether bees, set up the blaze bees, set up every bee that we have pretty much. Because we just kind of want these things to start working. So, I mean, we have the blaze bees and the skeleton bees and all those things. They're all pumping. They all have their own block here, or drawer controller. We do have to check this every once in a while and just make sure kind of that we aren't randomly overflowing. Like I forgot to set up nether racks, so it was flowing into these chests and bada bing bada boom. You guys get it. So, yeah. All right. What we are going to do is go in and start running up the power mod, which could get us into here, but I think that for now we really just want to kind of start getting all of these, and I think the one that we care about the most here is the reactor. A starter reactor requires uraninite. So uraninite, interestingly enough, we are actually going to need radioactive bees, which, oh boy, that is awful. And I'm going to assume here radioactive bees have a spawn egg, which comes from radioactive waste barrel on a steel bee, which is just steel and lead. Let's actually see if we can make 2 of these. And then We're going to need 2 more of them. And... Alright. Well, let's get rid of this because I do not want to look at that anymore. But we have our radioactive waste barrels. So now all I need is the steel bees. So, just like normal, guys, we will go ahead and breed up some bees. So one thing I do like about this setup, and it's that if we want a specific honeycomb, for instance, I need to get 2 steel honeycomb blocks, I can actually just go over to the steel and just remove it for the time being. And then whenever our steel fills up, which it should be right here, you can see we have 2 honeycombs, 0 blocks, but whenever this goes ahead and fills up, we'll just be able to get the honeycomb from that, and that'll make things a lot easier. And then I can just grab the honeycomb, and before I leave, I can just go over real quick, click add, drop it back in, and boom, we're good. So right here we got 1 honeycomb block, we just need 1 more, and then we should be good to make ourselves a radioactive bee. Alright, so we do have our uranium bee, or the radioactive bee, set up over here, and it is pumping stuff out. We can see there's some radioactive honeycomb blocks, but one thing about it is that the main ingredient of these radioactive honeycombs is uranium ingots, and the uraninite that we are actually after in here is only a 50% chance to be dropped. So in the end game, when we're looking for singularities, we are actually looking for uranium. So it's not the end of the world. And we are indeed getting some uraninite. I already have 18, and you can see we have pretty good. But one thing I did just want to show you is if you really want to get uraninite as fast as possible, you can take your uranium ingots, and this can be made much faster by not using a quartz grindstone. When we get to pulverizers and crushers and things like that, it'll be even better. But basically I can take it and crush it up into uranium dust, throw it in a mana pool, which will give me this, and then if I get 2 of them, it'll give me raw uraninite, which I can smelt into 2 uraninites. So if I just go ahead pretty much and drop these in the mana pool, I'll get these poor raw uraninites, and I can go ahead and actually let me get 1 more. Just to kind of show this off. Not that this is any form of efficiency, and you can probably have a much better way of your time, but if you are really just sitting here waiting, you might as well do something like this. So basically, just come over here with an even number. We go like this, raw uraninite, that's 4 of them, and I think we can just smelt that up. When we do, it should give me uraninite. Cool. Well, there we go. So there's our uraninite. We are going to boop boop, and here we go. So we're on our starter, so we will, let's just see what we're going to need actually. We need some more basic capacitors. This should be fine. We're going to make 64 of them because I believe we're going to need 9 times 4. We need 36 of them. And maybe the quest book actually will show me that. It doesn't. That's fine. I think we need 36. I believe it's a directional thing. Doop, there's 64 of them. 1. I need 9 of these. There's 4 of them. Doop. And there should be 9 dielectric. Oh, cool. We have 12 apparently. And that should mean 36 starter reactors. Perfect. So there we go. Then I can upgrade them to basic capacitors, which should be easy enough. Hardened after that will require those energized steel, which we will have to do. I believe at this point we need to set up the automation of the energized steel, which we'll just need one more modular router. So we'll go ahead and do that right after I upgrade this to, see how it says generation 100 FE per tick? So not very good. But if we go all the way to like nitro reactor, it says 5,000 RF per tick, and that is actually going to be way more than that. So let me just go ahead and upgrade this reactor to what? The basic reactor. I thought these were in a chain, but apparently they are not. So, oh wow, these ones are not. So you can actually skip directly too. I wonder why it makes me not do that then. That stinks. Oh well. Well, we're gonna go ahead and run through, but I think we're gonna probably stop at like, let's see, what does a nitro crystal require? Yeah, nether star. So we are gonna probably stop at the spirited, but we need to get all these quests done, so we'll go ahead and do it, guys. And you guys already know, we'll be right back. Alrighty, guys, I just want to bring you along for our last little bit of a craft here. We're making our last 2 niotic crystals for our reactor. Now, one thing I figured out was that there is actually no set number as long as you have one. So I did just make one recipe of each, except for the one that we're going to make. And obviously I messed it up with the starter one. But now we should be able to do this. And yep, that's a lot of diamonds. We should be able to go there. And then what I think we're going to actually do here is just doop, and let's go sleep. No, can't sleep. That's because it's a solar eclipse, not a thingy-mabobby. Alright. Here. And it should just build it, the whole thing. Now, I wanted to build it next to this, not on top of it. So I did it sort of on purpose. Because this is your energy, input and output and things of that nature. But the reactor takes a few things to operate. The first main thing is uraninite. It's also going to need 1 bucket of water. So let's grab a water bucket. And then we're also going to want redstone, I believe. Coal. My dogs are in the background. Uraninite. We're just going to grab a stack of that for now. And it should just be able to go... Ooh. Not like that. There we go. Now it's... Seems to be working. Yeah, cool. So it has water inside. There's this, and this is for solid coolant, aka ice. And I think that, like, it's different in terms of a cooling source. Let me see. Coolants, so yeah, we can do liquid starlight, and that actually would probably be better. And then solid coolants, you can see dry ice is -32, but the best we can do right now, we'll need to get like an icy bee, I believe. We could turn water into it, but I believe the icy bee would be the best. So let me yell at my dogs. I'll be right back. All right, we got them. So we are producing now 30. We have 30 million RF stored. What should we even do with this is another question that I have. I think one thing I want to do is set our configuration in such a way that we are actually going to be exporting power, which it does look like it's working. What are we generating per tick? We're currently generating 29,000 RF a tick, and then you can see I just have it hooked up to our main line here. But we do run out of uraninite relatively quickly. So one thing that I think we may end up doing, this goes here, is having to figure out a way to import our uraninite into our system. This is now functioning as it should, so that's good. Let's look here. That goes there, perfect. But yeah, cool. So we have that. The Spirited was actually a little bit of a bottleneck for us, but now I think we should be able to get there. One thing I need to figure out is what that was for. Let me go ahead and get us a couple stacks of emeralds. We will take it out, and of course, we're going to need to clear up our inventory just a little bit because we are going to have to empty. There you go. Our inventory like so. Make sure this is filled up, and then yeah, we'll put the diamonds in. But for now, I don't really think that we're going to need the Spirited. At least not in the absolute near future. Also, I believe this actually should go here, is what would make sense to me. And I will need my pipe wrench. Alright, so that is fixed. Cool. And now we should be making sure, double checking that we have power all the way over here. And we totally do. 50,000, 50,000, 50,000, which is something different because it was saying 49,000 before. Not that it wasn't necessarily keeping up, but I guess maybe that changes some things. So, not really sure. But, now that we have that taken care of, we have our power problems sorted out, and we are what appears to be doing well. I believe the next step for us is to look into our Starlight Infusion to getting into the machine frames. The machine frames will be used in lots of ways, namely to get steel casings and steel casings to get ME controllers. That's something that I would like to work towards, but there are also plenty of things that machine frames can be used for, such as, just for starting, the multi-servo press, which can be used tremendously to get diamond gears, which originally would take blazing blood, but we would be able to do that with, instead of the blazing blood to make it, we will be able to just use a multi-servo press. And that would be awesome because these are used in a few things that we may have to get into here. But what I am looking at doing is getting into machine frames right now. So we have the ability to make our pity machine frames, which are just through our pressure chamber. So we can go ahead and do that. That's easy. Now I think we need to work on Starlight Infusion and in turning these into machine frames. So there's a couple things that I'd like to do that. Number one is just make the normal Starlight Infusion, which looks a little bit like this. I believe it's actually... Well, let's go grab our Astral Sorcery book. Astral Tome, which we have 2 of apparently, but that's fine. Constellation, maybe? Starlight Infusion, yes, perfect. So here is how we get it, but here's the actual path. So we just do this, that. Alright. It looks easy enough. Let's go ahead and what we're going to do is get our Starlight Infuser, which all looks fine and dandy, and then we'll also get our marble pillar, marble, lapis block, and chiseled marble. We'll go ahead and start getting that set up, and also we're going to need 12 blocks of liquid starlight. So I believe we may need to automate this at least a little bit, or semi-form, but we'll be right back. Alrighty, so it's nighttime. We've got it. And it looks like it's attempting to do it. There it is. Alrighty. So one thing that we do need before this thing actually works is some liquid starlight. Now, I thought that I had some. Turns out I don't believe that I actually did. Now, something we can do is get a couple of hoppers. We don't have any hoppers. We don't have any good hoppers anyways. Actually, you know what? I suppose these will work. So, we do just need a bunch of aquamarine. And there is a zombie right here, of course, because we're messing with the base. What else would happen? And we don't actually need this. What we needed actually was a tank, which I believe we can use a some sort of tank. Well, let's see what we got here. Hey, look, I have my liquid starlight tank. That actually is awesome. Okay. So, can I just go like this and have it work? Doop and doop. I need it to start producing something, but it doesn't look like it's going to. So what we're going to do is we're just going to grab a fluid pipe just to make sure that it indeed does work. And then we'll also grab our pipe wrench because we'll need that. And if we come back and there's more than 3778, no, there's not. So we'll grab this piece here. Where's my tank? There you are. We'll go like this. I'll go like that. Extract. And now this light well is actually not even producing any starlight right now, and I'm kind of confused as to why light well says aquamarine produces liquid starlight. Does it not have a clear path? It does not have a clear path. That makes all the sense. All right. So these things definitely always need a clear path to the sky. And now we should be seeing it working. We'll go ahead and grab this, and you should see it going up here. Pipe 38. There it is. Yeah, perfect. So it is working, and now I'll just grab one hopper. Brick hopper is fine. We'll go ahead and put a bunch of aquamarine in there. And it's not quite automated, but we are just turning aquamarine into starlight. So it's kind of working, kind of not. But enough for me to be okay with it. So what we have to do now is literally fill up all of these pieces, which is 12. So not yet. So we are going to have to wait for this to work. And to be honest, it's pretty slow. And light wells really aren't that hard to make. So maybe we'll make a couple of them. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so we finally finished the last piece of the Starlight Infusion, and I will show you just how we set this guy up, but first what I want to do is, I think I actually am going to need the resonating wand still. I kind of put that away. I didn't realize I needed it for the Starlight Infusion, but I guess you need it for everything. So what you're seeing on my screen right now is actually because I stepped in Starlight. It gives you night vision. Just fine. But there we go. So now we're using it. Now one thing about the Starlight Infuser is that it will always, and I think actually you just saw it right there, it will always use up one bucket of starlight. At least I think. There you go. Yeah. So now that I filled it up, should be able to put another one in there and hit it with the infusion. Come on. There you go. So yeah, cool. We have 2 machine frames now. So that should unlock our thermal expansion. And it totally did. So we have our redstone flux coils, which we have already made, but we'll do it again really fast. And then that will that'll let us go into the world of thermal expansion, which I love. So, to start off thermal expansion, I actually think, well, we want to make all these machines, but like we've made the vacuumulator. We can start on integral components and things like that for this. All right, so the whole world just kind of opened up to us. So what do we want to do? I think what we want to do is maybe almost move directly into blood magic. But first, let me show you guys how this works, because I realize I'm skipping over this. So, light wells do not like things to be placed into them via like pipes and things like that. They like to be, you have to right click aquamarine into it. So I have an activator module, which just right clicks any block. And I set it to right click, don't sneak, and just look right next to you on the block to your right. So, and then I buffered it to whitelist aquamarine just in case something funny comes into this. And we just have a chest with a polar module pulling from this chest, distributor module, which I don't actually know if this is working. Transfer out of router into router. I think we want it out of router, whitelist, match any. Ignore it. No, yeah. Ignore item damage. Always continue. I think that this is right. I think it's just, I'm not exactly positive as to why it's not doing it. It should be, but we'll look at that in a little bit. But it's not filling them up, but maybe it will like keep them, like if it runs out, maybe is when it will actually do it. I'm not quite sure. But it's working for now until, and then it does let you pipe fluid out of it, so that's what we're doing right here, the basic fluid tank. That's all we have so far. We could switch it over to a jumbo tank if it becomes worrisome, but for now, I think it's okay. So, one thing I do want to do is just kind of move through the thermal expansions that we've already done. So let's see, we might even have one of these. Let's start bookmarking some of this stuff here. And I think I have a vacuumulator. If not, we'll make one. I don't think that I pulled it apart, but let's look VA vacuumulator. Yes. All right, there's that done. I don't think I made any of these. I did make a lapidary dynamo. There's your lapidary dynamo. And flux linkage amplifier, which we need electrum for. And then lead gears and things like that. This is a good point in making us a multi-servo press. So we are going to need some constantan. Constantan is just copper and nickel. In order to make constantan, we will need 2 gears, which is going to be 8 constantan ingots. So we'll need 4 copper, 4 nickel. So copper, 1, 2, 3, 4. Nickel, and then we also will need 2 bronze, but the bronze, I believe, is something else. Copper and tin, it looks like. Bronze is 3 copper to 1 tin, so we're going to need 3 copper, 1 tin. There we go. Alright, let's check this out. Bink, bink, bink. And that should make us the constantan and the bronze. Let's go ahead and grab some casts. We have our gear casts and our ingot casts. Drop down our gear cast first. We need the constantan to go out. That's perfect. And once we get those 2 things, I think that should be everything actually to make us a multi-servo press. So we'll be right back. Alright, and just like that, we're going to throw our bronze, our constantan, and our machine frames right into it. And boom. That should give us the multi-servo press. Awesome. So there's one step. We got to make all of these, and we will eventually, but not quite right away. Could look at making some dynamos, but one thing that I really want to look at is some hardened integral components like right away. So gold gear and Invar, that's going to be awesome. So actually, let's look to see what some of these dyes use. How do I make this gear working dye? It's actually going to be a gear with 4 pieces of Invar. So Invar is going to be something that we're going to need a lot of. I'm going to make a couple stacks of this actually. So it's 2 iron, 1 nickel. So what I think I'm actually going to do is go like, where's my nickel? That. So 2 to 1. That should make us a lot of ingots. And we are rapidly running actually out of things, but that's fine. So we're running out of space. This thing is not even big enough for us anymore, which is awesome. I mean, I guess we're making things in big bulk, but still pretty cool. Now, one thing we can do is go ahead and make a wooden gear. Just because it's so cheap, and I can go ahead like this and like that. And once we get this, it should give us the gear working die. Come on, we can see it in our upper corner here. You're almost done. So close. There it is. Boom. All right, there's our gear working die. And just for something quickly, what I'm actually just going to do is place it here. Push in. Do I have it? We don't actually have power there. So let's go like this. Don't have power. All right. Let's grab us an energy pipe then. Energy pipe. Like so. And we should just be able to kind of throw out here. And I will need the pipe wrench, so we'll actually just go ahead and do that shortly here. Well, I did figure it out. So it didn't actually have anything to do with this. It's because we were out of uraninite and therefore out of power. But now we got this thing going. And what we did need was... what? What was I doing? I think what I was doing was making these hardened integral components. Yes, I was. Okay. First, what we should do is just set all this invar to like automatically dump out because we just need it in ingot form at this point. And I'm going to need a gold gear, so we'll go ahead and run it over to the multi-servo press here just so we can give this thing a shot. And look at this. So we are going to need to augment it to make it a little bit faster, but damn, got a gold gear. Just like that. We didn't have to wait for this giant smeltery to work and all that other nonsense. We just were able to get it to do its thing. So now we can go ahead and look at getting a hardened integral component. What I'm actually going to do is grab 4 more gold gears because I feel like, hold on actually, I think the diamonds are what we're really going to be after here. Eventually. So I'll just throw this in. And you can see scale factor 2x. So it made it twice as fast. Now I'm getting diamond gears. So that one's going to be super useful. All right. Flux linkage amplifiers. I will need lead. So let's get dupe. I'm going to make a whole stack of these because I think I'm going to need them. The other thing we need to look at is electrum. Molten electrum is gold and silver, so let's get gold. Let's get some silver. I think I'm only going to make like half a stack of this, so 1 stack of electrum. And then how do we make these plates? Okay, you just put an ingot in a thing. I don't need any plate cast or anything like that, so we'll just go ahead, dink, dink, and do it. While we're waiting on that, might as well just go ahead and put our lead ingots in here. and that should be pumping out lead gears like nothing else. We are going to need a lot of these flux linkage amplifiers. They're going to be super useful to us. Also, electrum and signalum, copper, silver, and redstone is going to be used for the next integral components, followed by inderium and lumium, which we do not have inderium yet. That is coming from inderium bees, which will come from Ender bee and diamond bee. Ender bee is actually fairly easy to get. We already have skeleton bee. Looks like zombie bees are probably spawned in or something, but cool. So, anyways, we will just grab some electrum, do our thing, and be right back. Alright, and just like that, I should made 3 flux linkage amplifiers. We also need the auxiliary reaction chambers in order to complete this quest, and I think this is for generation rate, so for generators and things like that, which we're not really going to use, so I will just make one of them and let them do their thing. But what I did want to show you guys was a little bit about these flux linkage amplifiers. Basically, you see I got 4 more slots. I just fill them in there, and then it's basically just going to use 10% more energy, but it's going to process a little bit faster. So we are using 40 RF per tick, efficiency 100%, and now efficiency, we're making 160 RF per tick. We're using it, and efficiency 75. But if you look, there's without it, and here's with it. So we are substantially faster, I do believe. Doop, electrum gear, just like that. Not easy at all, and that's actually only with this hardened integral component, which we actually are going to go all the way up to the resonance. So all in all, really cool. Love this mod. We're going to get into it a lot more. And I think it's going to be very useful for us in the future here. We already have quite a bit of resources, by the way. We're almost up to 1 million cobblestone just off of this little guy here. But yeah, so awesome sauces. Well, we are out of time for this episode. It looks like actually we're processing a lot of things right now. Well, it looks like we're still keeping up, so I guess that's okay. Probably because our power was backed up. We are going to have to set up the automation of uraninite into this. I think probably we'll do that. I wish. See, look, we're already out of it. But, well, I guess we'll go restock our uraninite while we say goodbye for this episode, guys. So, also, I need storage for this uraninite. Crap. Oh, well, guys, we'll do that while off screen. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider subscribing. Click the links down below, my Discord, and whenever I'm live on Twitch. And as always, guys, we'll see you next time. Oh, yeah.